God damn it, we said we'd do Eromanga-sensei every week, and we missed a week. But this is still the same week.
Yeah,
we're gonna be there. Now we've got video. Hey, Eromanga live, Eromanga live from the echoey ass room. Where's all that sound paneling I had laying around?
Did you bring it with you?
There's a shitload of it laying around in random places. Who cares? The mics will sound fine. It always sounds echoier for us than it does for the microphones.
That's true. For future reference, we could film in the other room, which is significantly less echoey.
Too late. I set up everything in here. Yep. Welcome to the Eromanga-sensei live, fresh after Mia Mathova.
Mia Mathova just ended, everybody.
Which, if you guys, if anybody's listening to the Eromanga show who doesn't subscribe to Best Guy Ever for some reason,
you're wasting your life, guys.
Yeah, go watch all the Mia Mathova videos. They were fantastic.
They're a journey.
So this week's Eromanga-sensei was almost good.
Yeah, I'd say at some points it was actually good.
Yeah,
you know,
it had we've been saying all this time, what are the odds that we'd ever end up enjoying this show? And not that I enjoyed it, though. That's an important distinction to make, because I posted on Twitter that this episode was actually kind of good, and people were like, see, and I'm like,
yeah, that's the thing.
It doesn't make the show good.
That's right.
It's just an episode with good moments in it.
Just because they correctly use the way characters really should be utilized doesn't undo all the mistakes that have been there up to this point and save the character all of a sudden. Of course not.
It's good scenes, but it doesn't make the story better, because what these scenes are in service of is this dog shit story.
That's true.
You know, I can't get invested in these. It's too late. The ship has sailed on investment in these characters because they're too. They're too shit. They're too shitty and unbelievable and incongruent. And if I had believed in them up to this point, then this would be meaningful stuff. And instead, it's wow, I wish it had always been this way.
It's that thing where you see the scenes where clearly you're supposed to be feeling a certain way, and to an extent you do, because they play all the right music. You know, their facial reactions are all what you want them to be. But you're looking back and I don't actually care about any of these people.
Directing is majorly stepped up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a different director from usual or something. I didn't look into it. But it feels... Scenes have dramatic weight to them in a way that they haven't before. The animation stepped up. There's less random bullshit, terrible-looking frames, and more moments that are kind of gorgeous. You know?
Less horrendous. Fan service is perfectly fine at times, but less of the horrendous, immersion breaking, just... bottom of the barrel trash.
The only egregious fan service in this one is just the harem shit.
Yeah.
And dialogue fans. The stuff that I'm not sure if it's fan service or a joke or what's the
during the party.
Just this type of humor that you always get in fucking otaku shows like this, these harem shows where it's the girls fawning over MC and being
when they
she's
both
a tsundere or whatever, and it's is it supposed to be funny or endearing, or is it? Do you consider that fan service? A girl having a tsundere reaction, is that fan service?
I'll tell you what's fan service. That one scene where, yes, to an extent, it's specifically there to please the audience, to be to imprint themselves on that situation. But the scene where Elf, Elf's a playful character, so I could see her grabbing his arm and being I'm gonna come into the room with what's his face, and then the other girl's well, I guess I'll take his other arm. That's when I'm stop.
Yeah.
You've gone too far.
And but yeah, I can't tell if is it fan service or what is it? Is it meant to elicit a laugh or a are you supposed to get turned on imagining yourself in that scenario?
It's funny saying it because it is 1,000 that is 1,000 times more tasteful than what the show has done up to this point. So it's hard to criticize it when it's such an improvement from normal,
from hidden camera show.
Yeah, literally peeping on a 12-year-old girl getting undressed in a room. I do still feel that element of they're doing this so that I could be oh man, it'd be so nice to have a girl on each arm and just walk into this room like a bomb ass pimp. But it's comparatively innocent, so...
Yeah. So, this episode has some interesting themes through it. I'm trying to think of how I'd basically summarize the episode, because it jumps around a lot. The main thing that's going through it is Sagiri, who at this point seems legitimately... she's so in love with our main guy at this point that it's becoming painful that they're not together, and now that he's surrounded by these other girls and stuff, Sagiri's kind of getting to a point where she's upset with herself for not having said something and letting this perpetuate,
Which I want to say is accurate and good. That's how you should feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it also is frustrating because she's not. So
I mean, she's just a failure. She is a failure. She's a NEET, therefore she's a failure of a human being.
I just don't get why, if she believes that she, like, when she confessed to him before, she failed, but she in her mind believed that she was confessing to him. Like, she has gotten...
The first time, you mean?
Yeah. Like, she's gotten mad at him for not having understood that she was confessing. Which means that at some point she had the courage to outright confess. And now that she feels even more strongly and has all these, like, other people encroaching on him, and, like, she should, at this point, say something.
Yeah.
Like, now is the time. And, like, she makes it clear. So at the start of this episode, she's wearing a yukata, and she's looking gorgeous.
It's the fireworks viewing episode. That's what it is, yeah.
And main guy is talking to her, and, like, she, reconfirms with him that he's in love with her. Like, he states outright, like, he's in love with her, he just doesn't think that she's in love with him. So all she has to do is clear up this misunderstanding.
She's so weak. She's so incredibly weak. And the fact that it's typical, right? For her to be like, oh, fuck this guy, man. He's just such a pussy.
But she did it before. That's what gets me about it, is that she literally confessed before. So, like, why can't she do it again?
A girl's emotions are transient like the wind, I guess. Just one moment she's up to it, another moment she's not. I don't fucking know.
Especially when she's, like, literally in pain now that he doesn't understand. I'm just like, confess again. You did it once. You know that he just misunderstood you. Yeah. Like, this isn't a case where she thinks that he's not in love with her.
Right, not at all.
She completely knows.
He states it every episode with no ambiguity.
All she would have to do is clear up this with one sentence. She has all the cards.
Yep.
And she hasn't played them.
At the end of the day, there is one defense that sort of excuses all these kinds of things. Like I've said before, and it's just like teenage angst. Like, oh, she's just being an angsty teenager right now. You can use that defense for all the retarded things they do.
It just makes it a shitty story.
That just makes it a shitty story. That's right. So... It's not a real defense.
So,
can we talk about the Muramasa thing during that yukata scene?
Okay, yeah. Well, that's my. Your notes. I read through your notes because we watched this episode like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna record a thing, but then I was in a hotel. It's shitty connection. Whatever. It seemed like you were upset with this scene. That he says so. Well, okay. Yeah. There's parts of it are upsetting.
Right.
He says to her like, "Oh, you look really cute in that. You look like Muramasa-sensei."
It's because you don't say that to a girl you like. You don't. You look, damn girl, you look good. Almost as girl as that girl over there. Like, god damn,
almost as girl as that girl.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but like
it's stupid. He should know better.
It's just like that's something a retarded teenager would say, and he is a retarded teenager. So like it makes sense, but it's frustrating.
It's definitely stupid. Yeah. But then he says something really interesting because Eromanga asks him like, "Do you like Muramasa?" And he says yes. That he does like her.
Another thing you never say to a girl who you're into. You just don't say that.
Well, then she actually, thank God, because otherwise this would have been like 10 times more wheel spinning. She actually then confirms, but do you like me more? And he says yes. Which, like, I mean, they could have got a whole arc out of her thinking that he likes Muramasa now, So thank God we didn't put up with that.
They actually acted like a human being. Like, okay, question, okay, misunderstanding, clarification, okay, got it. Yes, we've done this.
So we confirmed that he likes Sagiri the most. But I'm just so interested in the fact that he admits to like romantically liking this other girl. Like he says, like when she asks how much do you like her, he says number 2 in the world after you. So, like, if Sagiri was out of the picture...
He's telling Sagiri, this woman is a threat to you. Like, be aware. She might... Who knows when she'll overtake you.
Yeah, it's not smart. If I can't be with you, I've found someone else I think I could be with.
That's, like, the worst thing to possibly say to someone.
It's the worst thing for him to say to her, but it's the most interesting thing he could say.
I guess
like, as a character. Like, just think about this idea that... Yeah, that he actually likes another... And, like, admits it. Like, he understands that he likes another girl.
Yeah.
And, like... What if he did it? What if he, like, didn't end up with Sagiri and, like, pursued Muramasa because he thought he couldn't get with Sagiri?
I mean, we can... Okay, you know what? I'm with you on that, but like any kind of argument like that is undercut by the fact that this show is named Eromanga-sensei.
Sure.
And we're just wasting our time thinking about those kind of things.
It probably is a waste of time, but like, I just think when you watch most harems, it's just a guy being indecisive the whole show.
Yes,
like most of the time, he doesn't even admit to liking one girl.
Correct.
So for him to like openly say, I am in love with you, my sister, and also I'm kind of in love with this other girl. And, like, if things don't work out with us, I could be with her. It really lights a fire under Sagiri's ass.
I guess it does.
And then it gets weird, though, because later in the episode, which, to skip ahead over a lot of meandering stuff, like, the way the episode ends is that he's with Sagiri and the yukata in her room again, and they're going to watch the fireworks. And, like, they have this sort of dramatic back and forth where she realizes that what her brother wants is a family. Because his mom died, like his real mom died when he was young, and then his dad and her mom died. Right. And he's just been like looking for someone to be with him, and like Sagiri's realizing that like she hasn't provided that for him all that time. Like all he wanted was a sister and like a family, and she's just been cooped up in her room, So then she's like, okay, even if I can't be a lover to you, I'll at least be a family. Which I don't understand her logic of why she can't just be a lover that is family. But, like, it would be interesting to imagine if she started acting like a little sister and he hooked up with... I mean, what
with the other girl?
Could you imagine...
Think he's going to do that?
Could you imagine how amazing of a turnaround this show would have if these two characters realized that their attraction to one another was just like a weird hormonal thing, and they actually became brother and sister? Like they didn't fall in love. They actually just became brother and sister and got with different people. And like he gets with Muramasa. And she, like, I don't know what happens to Eromanga. Maybe she gets with the milquetoast guy.
That guy. That one dude.
The totally forgettable guy. Like, just, that would make this show good to me. I know it's not going to happen, but I would actually like the show if it went down that road.
Well, okay,
I would raise my score by, like, 4 points.
I see what you're saying.
From a 2 to a
that would be far more interesting than just doing what we all expect to happen. But I do feel like that would be like the show had just been lying to me up to this point actively. Because the signs have been so clear, and I don't think that people are smart enough to, like, misdirect us who are writing this show. I don't think that at all. If I had any kind of implication that was what they were actually going for.
Although Oreimo was all about the misdirect of convincing you that he's not going to fuck his sister, and then having him fuck his sister.
I guess that's true.
So what if this show was the total opposite? Like, it just insisted constantly that he was going to fuck his sister, only to take a total left turn.
That show was still pretty, I don't know, still fawned over Kirino quite a bit.
Sure.
I just don't see it happening. What?
If it happens, though, I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but if it happens, I'm just calling right now, I will legitimately raise my score to a positive score.
So you'll say...
Just because of the balls.
So you'll say to all those people out there, like, you were right. Like, the show did do a twist. And
that would be such a fucking twist.
It would be nuts.
And it has to stay that way. It can't just... It can't hint at that story and then revert back.
Because, like, now, what she's implying with that is, like, I'm going to be your little sister. But then, but see, this is why it isn't going to happen that way. Because after she's like, you know what? You want a family? I'm going to be your little sister. Like, as soon as he leaves, she's just like, I've gotten farther away from my dream. Like, I've gone... Like, that is so clear that she's like, this is not working for me long term. I'm going to be the little sister so I can get, be the wife one day. She talks about her dream earlier in the episode about how she wants to be a wife. Like, come on. All the signs are there. How does
he not get it?
He's such an idiot.
Who does he think that she likes?
I don't know. Aitsu. Like some other dude.
Like
He's such a fucking idiot.
Teenage drama. At this point, it's not even believable that he doesn't get it. It just feels like a narrative convenience. Like... There's no reason he shouldn't have figured out that she likes him.
Dude, like I was just saying about that scene where like she says she wants to be married. It's like his reaction, like everyone's going around during this party they're having for all like the people who are in that Budokai thing. Yeah. They're all saying like what their dream was. And Elf says her dream is to like take over the world or something, and
with her manga, like just have the most successful book, I guess.
Yeah, which by the way was the best animation in the entire show. It had the most life. I felt a pulse during that little goofy animation. And then Muramasa says like, I want to write the perfect novel myself and then read my own novel. Like that's her dream. wank. But and then hers was just like, I want to be a bride. That's what I want to be. And like his smile, I actually really liked how subtle it was. He's just like,
yeah. Because he's like proud of this vision. He's like, yeah, I want my sister to be happy, even if it's not with me.
That's what they're going for. But it's with
you that she wants to be with. How do you not get that?
That's him quietly resigning himself. Like, yes, my sister is going to fuck some other dude I'm not going to get to. But yeah, he's just such a fucking idiot. I did want to say, though, since we already got into that ending scene, I really wanted to draw attention to some kind people on Twitter pointed out some of the manga pages that were parallel to the scene in the manga where she comes to the realization that, like, oh, you just wanted a family. They left out, and this makes me so fucking angry that they left this out, because this adds so much character to the guy, exactly as I had predicted. And the manga admits it, the show is too fucking cowardly. They say, like, she says, like, oh, no, okay, he admits that, you know what, Sagiri, I got to admit, like, you know how you're a NEET, you know how your life is terrible and you're locked in your room all the time and it really sucks, which is great because during this episode, it really paints the scene of, like, everyone downstairs having a great time together while she's up in her room, like, alone, miserable. Please, yes, show NEET's suffering. That's what this show needs more of, because being a NEET is not fun. Ask any of them. And so at the end, like, he confesses that, like, you know what? I admit it. Like, I think I've been encouraging you to be a NEET. I think I have been, like, hurting you actively through, like, my passive, like, just this, and this happens all the time. People passively allowing other people to do things that are hurting themselves for their own benefit. Like, you let people, like, if it's convenient that your girlfriend is, like, addicted to drugs, that you don't get her off it because, like, she's always coming back to you and you like feeling powerful, you know? Exactly. It's a dependency situation. In the manga, he admits it, and that shows that he's, like, a fucked up dude, and that makes it way more interesting. In the anime, they're just like, no, cut that out. We need this to be fucking pure and clean. He's not bad at all. And that further fucks up. I was going to make a point, but I totally lost it all of a sudden. Well, it's terrible.
And in addition to that, because we keep saying, she says, you want a family, but that doesn't happen in the anime. He says, I think I wanted a family. In the manga, she says, you want a family.
Right.
So, like, he doesn't, in the manga, it's implied he didn't realize it. Like, she figures it out and presents it to him, and that's when he says, you know what, I think you're right, and maybe I've been treating you this way because of that.
That's right.
In the anime, he's just like, maybe I wanted a family.
So much worse. So much worse.
1,000 times worse. Even though, as I understand it, the novel author wrote this episode. Someone said that, like, that's why this episode's better, is because he actually wrote it or something.
Well, okay. I mean, is like the most important part of the entire episode and the entire show. Like, this is the issue at the heart of the show, and they left out this important, critical part. What a mistake! What a terrible mistake!
Yeah, if it is him,
I'd be screaming about it if I wasn't tired.
But don't quote me on that because I didn't fact check it.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking Kuroneko, holy fuck!
Kuroneko was in this episode for with her
little
cameo.
sisters. Yeah.
That was a fucking, like, jarring experience.
How much did they have to pay Kana Hanazawa to say 2 lines in this episode?
I don't know.
She's like the most famous voice actress, the most sought after seiyuu in Japan, and they had to bring her in for 2 lines.
I'm not sure if
I hope she made bank.
Yeah, I hope she fucking stole everything possible from this fucking production.
But
you know what? I just want to say, I'm glad to see Kuroneko doing okay. Glad to see her alive and well out in the world. So,
I assume we can assume this is after Imo. Though her sisters look the same age.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, she looked older, they looked the same, or maybe it was an optical illusion or something.
So yeah, the midsection of the episode, our guy hangs out with Elf. She's in her school uniform, which looks great. I thought
she does look great.
That was one of my favorite outfits. The yukatas looked great.
Yeah,
they all had good hairstyles in their yukatas. This episode looks good.
It does look good.
It's weird compared to most of the show.
I did want to say,
much better it looks.
If you go to 9 minutes and 38 seconds, there's a weird moment of, like, good Elf animation where it's just like they stretched out a bunch of frames and you can see Elf going like, and it's like a close up of her face. It's her just, like, slowed down to, like, 2 frames per second. I don't know. It was weird. It just was really jarring to me.
But yeah, her outfit looks good. It kind of reminded me of, like, a Monogatari uniform a little bit.
Yeah,
in, like, the darker, muted color scheme and everything. And matched well with her hair.
I like the red one better, but I think she looked great here too. Elf is looking good these days, man. She's looking good these days.
said she was giving practical advice to just talk to Muramasa when he's feeling awkward about it. Yeah.
Yes, yep. Yeah, Elf is the best girl. You know, she gets
the only thing wrong with Elf is that she's in love with the main character. That's the only thing I don't like about her. Like, yeah. Well, and that her personality is completely inconsistent.
But well, that's really... I wouldn't even mind that she's in love with the main character. I think... I understand why they have this relationship and why she has feelings for him. Like, they are companions. They work on the same stuff. They understand each other's work.
And then he says to her... You'd make such a great older sister for me.
And she don't want to hear that shit, dog.
But I kind of like that moment just because I feel like that was the moment of Elf being told, like, fuck off, you are not one of the girls.
That's true. That's true.
Like, surely after hearing that, she knows, like, this guy doesn't have I mean, he even has a thing for Muramasa now.
Yeah.
Like, we were saying
She's
that...
further down the totem pole.
Yeah, we were saying that Elf was the Kuroneko. Like, he hasn't even processed that she likes him yet.
Yeah.
And Muramasa, he's already at number 2 in the world stage with, so...
Well, this guy's going through that phase of his life where, as every harem protagonist does, where suddenly a million girls are interested in him, and... it's hard to process that people are actually suddenly interested in you.
So it looks like you were upset that I'm just reading
my notes. How did I feel? Did you tell me?
It looks like psychologically profiling your experience in this episode. You seem to have been upset that he invited Muramasa to the party.
Yes, I was okay. See, this is his thing, and I know this is a little bit counter to how you're feeling about this, that he's like actively interested in her. But from the situation where you're a guy pursuing a girl, and again, this is just me criticizing him on like if you're a guy or if you're a human being interested in someone else, don't do this shit because you're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like he's inviting a girl he's admitted is his second bitch, his second totem pole girl. He's inviting her to this party, and he's like mending fences with this girl that he just dumped. Like what he's doing is he's torturing Muramasa right now. He is pulling her back in to get this little bit of like, oh, I want to be friends validation bullshit, and he's giving her he's letting her think she has a chance with him when he knows that he's all about Sagiri and he's not going to accept any substitutes, any second level girls. So he's just being cruel to her. And I'm aware that he's doing it because he's an idiot and he doesn't know any better, but that doesn't make it any less worse for Muramasa. So I feel for her. She is just a girl being manipulated by this dude. That sucks. Like, she's being taught, like, oh, come back. Like, oh, I want you in my life, when he actually doesn't. Well,
I mean, he might, because he still thinks Eromanga likes somebody else. I really think the road...
I know they're going to get together, so I don't know.
Well, I know they're going to get together, but what I think the narrative is going to be here is that as he, as he grows closer to Muramasa, and Eromanga continues to retardedly not fucking say anything about this, then eventually he's going to be like, hey... since you like somebody else, I'm gonna get with this girl, and then that's when she's gonna have to finally
cuckolding.
That's when she's gonna have to finally speak up and be like, hey, don't do that. I like you, And then either he finally gets with her, or I don't know, maybe she clams up forever, and we get this weird, cool ending that I want.
It'd be like it's so frustrating just as a viewer, and this is true of like all drama when the thing hampering the characters, advancing in their plot lines is just them not having the courage or working up the nerve. Right. It's just frustrating to watch.
It wouldn't this is typical. I get it, but the fact that she actually confessed in episode 4 is why this bothers me so much. It wouldn't bother me that much if I didn't know that she literally did it, thinking she was doing it, completely intending to communicate that. And all that, and she's even tried a couple other times, and he just cuts her off while she's saying it.
Yeah.
Which is haha, funny. Just say it again. Tell him, hey, shut up for 1 second, and let me clear this up.
She just doesn't have this. That's what they're telling us, that she doesn't have the stones for some reason. I don't know.
She just gets frustrated when he misunderstands, and therefore she.
Yeah. The Baka. That first confession thing. It's possible that the show just botched it and it wasn't supposed to be that clear of a confession or something.
No, because in the next episode she was
yeah.
But he says, "Oh, you like someone else?" She's like, "Wait, what? I confessed to you."
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Bad."
Dumb bitch. Is there anything else worth saying about this?
I don't know. I got everything I could out of your notes.
The party was okay.
That guy. There's a guy.
The most uninteresting character
They
in
go
all
out
of
of their way
anime.
to explain why he's there.
Yeah,
and like
for a while.
They're like, yeah, so I guess there was the Tenkaichi Budokai.
Yeah.
And everyone who participated essentially gets published anyways.
Don't you hate when they like undercut all the drama that had been there previously with like, oh, by the way, none of that mattered, all the shit you went through?
I mean, already none of it mattered because the girl disqualified herself.
There are multiple layers of none of this mattering.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting... We don't... Just do one if you're gonna do one.
I mean, at least it was such a short arc that you can't get...
Yeah.
Like, it didn't have a lot of build-up to frustrate you over, but like...
Though that's its own frustration that it was just like instantly gone, but...
But so, yeah, this guy who was the third place winner, they, like, invite him to the party with everybody else. And he's really just there to, like, to show us how weird things have gotten now that there's, like, a girl banging on the floor incessantly and two girls hanging on this guy's arms. And this dude's just here to be like, what the fuck is this guy's life? You know,
so
like,
wacky.
What kind of weird fucking sex pervert harem have I walked into? Yeah. But he doesn't even react that strongly. Like, he just comes off as really boring.
He is.
Like they should have played up the reactions. He should have been like, what is happening here?
Like, if I remember correctly...
He seems like he's kind of trying to keep his head down. It just...
that's true.
You know?
They hyped up, like, this character being introduced a bit, like, earlier. I mean, I forget what the situation was. Did they say, like, he was, like, fired up because he wanted to beat the guy or something?
They made it out like they did say that.
Like, yeah. Like
he's like, oh, yeah,
rivals.
he's determined. He's gonna outsell you or whatever. And then he shows up and he's just like, hey, guys.
Wait, you know what I was expecting?
Up,
you know from the opening, that dude with, like, the blonde hair who's wearing the tie, who you see in the opening, who hasn't showed up yet?
I always skip the opening.
I mean, I don't know, I see it sometimes. But, like, that guy is, like, he's going, like, he's serious. I was expecting it to be that guy, and he was going to be, like, intense, and was going to be, like, a new, interesting personality, who was going to be, like, an actual rival or something. Instead of just
interesting personality.
Yeah, but it was not to be.
I think you got your hopes a little high there.
That's true. I guess that's it, though. I think that's it.
I mean, it was an interesting episode. Like, it was easily the best, but it also, like... Again, because it's in Eromanga-sensei, you can only get so excited about it. It's like, yeah, that was a good scene, but then we also still have this weird harem situation, and we also know that the status quo is going to be upheld.
Yep.
So, like, I mean, this is episode, what, 8? 9?
Episode 8.
So there's still 4 episodes left.
Right.
I'm expecting I'm expecting a lot of faffing around before this is over. I don't expect we're going to jump right into a big emotional arc that lasts 4 whole episodes.
Besides, like, this is a light novel series, which I assume, is it still ongoing?
It is still ongoing, I believe.
We are not getting anything close to a satisfying resolution at the end of this show. No chance.
I mean, especially because it's been really successful, so there's going to be a second season.
Oh,
like, there's no way this isn't... your soul just exited your fucking...
Why is this show so fucking popular? I mean, I know why.
We're recording this, we're already tired, and I feel like you just, like, escalated to a new level of tired the second you heard that. You look like you wanted a pillow.
I have not yet recovered from EMF, and yes,
no,
I do.
I haven't recovered from driving across fucking 10 states.
We shall enter the Odin sleep forthwith after this.
The second we're done recording this, we're going straight to bed. I don't know, I might have to edit this, but, like...
Are you gonna do that tonight? Yeah. Have fun. Have fun, Neku. I'm done. I'm all set.
Yeah, alright. Well... Alright episode, but, like, it'll take a lot to salvage this show. That's all I'm saying. Like,
a lot. I do not think it's even possible.
The fact that this was, like, a 6 out of 10 episode does not make this a 6 out of 10 show.
Yeah.
You know? It's still, I don't know, 2.5.
Yeah. I'd put it...
And it could easily get much worse.
Sure, of course.
Like, the last 4 episodes could always get much worse. All right.
I'm almost excited for that. Okay.
See you next week. We'll probably do a live video again because I'll still be here because it's only like 3 days till Eromanga-sensei airs again.
Looking forward to it. Bye. Okay, we're all done. Sick.